Time for KP's Video News. KP's Video News. It's KP's Video News, y'all. It's KP's Video News, y'all.
That's right, folks. It's KP's Video News. And on the eve of just talking about, just a couple of days ago, I was talking about Trayford Pellerin, who got shot in the back by Lafayette police and shot and killed by Lafayette police. Now we're talking about Jacob Blake in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And you know, this is a ongoing story. This is a hot topic right now. Jacob Blake, and just got this this report here that stated that he's paralyzed. Jacob Blake is paralyzed from the waist down, and after police shooting, the father says it's unknown if it's permanent. And Jacob Blake, 29, which is the second person shot in the back by police in the last few days. This time, like I said, in Kenosha, Wisconsin, in a videotape incident that has sparked protests. Jacob Blake, black man shot in the back by police in Wisconsin, is paralyzed from the waist down, and doctors don't know if the condition is permanent, his father and family lawyer said Tuesday. Blake suffered serious damage to his colon, small intestine, kidney, liver, and stomach, stemming from Sunday night shooting in Kenosha, according to the family attorney, and severe and likely permanent injury. The attorney said of the wounds his client suffered miraculously, because I imagine you have seen all the video. Jacob is still alive. It's a miracle. And early on Tuesday, the man's father, also named Jacob Blake, stated that his son can't move the lower half of his body, and the father later confirmed the assessment of his son's condition. And they shot my son seven times like he didn't matter. The emotional father told the reporters late Tuesday afternoon, "But my son matters. He's a human being and he matters." While doctors don't know if the paralysis will be permanent, the family has been told that prospects are not encouraging, according to another family attorney, Benjamin Crump, because those bullets severed his spinal cord and shattered some of his vertebrae. Crump said it's going to take a miracle for Jacob Blake to ever walk again. And the shooting has sparked protests in Kenosha and other cities. Police in riot gear deployed tear gas against demonstrators in Kenosha late Monday as several buildings and cars were burning. Blake's mother, Julia Jackson, and Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers both appealed to protesters on Tuesday, asking them to keep the peace, even as they call for justice. And his mother stated that if Jacob knew what was going on, as far as that goes, the violence and the destruction, he would be very unpleased. So, Evers echoed Jackson and asked for protesters to keep focus. The ability to exercise First Amendment rights is a critically important part of our democracy and the pursuit of justice, Evers said in a statement. But there remains a line between peaceful assembly and what we saw last night that put individuals, families, and businesses in danger. Kenosha police have released few details beyond saying that officers were responding to a domestic incident on Sunday that resulted in the shooting. The confrontation was videotaped by a bystander and was posted to social media. And Blake appeared to be walking away from the officers that opened the front driver's door when he was shot from behind. And Detroit Lions, let me try this light again. Detroit Lions called off their practice on Tuesday in the wake of Blake's shooting. And after the team meeting, Lions coach Matt Patricia and the players pushed to dry erase board on wheels outside with the word "World Can't Go On." The world can't go on, and we won't be silent. One pride written on it. We're dealing with times right now where something is shaking the world, Lions defensive end Trey Flowers said. It's definitely an unprecedented time with the pandemic and something that has been going on for quite some time with the social injustice. The police shooting of Blake occurred 3 months after George Floyd died in a Minneapolis police custody, which sparked protests around the country and across the world. The elder Blake said he wasn't confident on the ongoing probe. I don't have confidence in anybody that is white that is doing an investigation about a black young man that was shot 7 times in the back, he stated. And so I'm like, hey, it's a crazy situation. It's like, here we go again and again and again and again. This is like, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But right now, Jacob Blake's sisters and his family described, who he, what he was all about. And before Jacob Blake became the latest in the long list of police shooting victims, the 29-year-old was a kid growing up in Evanston, Illinois, just out Chicago, on the north end of Chicago, and he attended high school in Evanston, where he was a member of the wrestling team. He later moved to Kenosha for a fresh start, his family said. Blake's family has a legacy of activism. His grandfather, the Reverend Jacob Blake Sr., led the fight for fair housing in Evanston throughout the 60s and 70s and led the Ebenezer AME Church congregation. He organized marches following the assassination of Martin Luther King that eventually led Evanston City Council members to ban racial discrimination in housing. We, the members of Ebenezer AME, were quite distressed to hear the news about Jacob Blake. The church that his grandfather pastored said in a statement after the news of Blake's shooting became public. It's also disturbing that this action was taken without regard for his children that witnessed the egregious and callous action. In between tears, his sister, Megan Belcher, called Jacob her light during a press conference Tuesday, emphasizing the fact that Blake cared deeply about his family. I'm not crying because I'm sad, I'm crying because I know how upset he is, that his family's upset right now, because his family is hurting. He loves his family, and you took and you all took him from his family, and you stood by and let it happen. And family attorneys said Jacob Blake is paralyzed, and loved ones are hoping that he can walk again. And one of his other sisters recounted how close the two were growing up, calling him her twin. We got a lot of insiders, a lot of things just between us because we are like this, she said, holding up crossed fingers. And almost every night, his sister said she and Blake would call each other just to joke around. She, like Megan, emphasized the bond we had with his family, that he had with his family, and his kids are his world. But not only that, his family is his world, she said. Like Megan said, she's upset because we're hurt, we're upset. He doesn't even care about himself, he's more worried about us. And the videotape of the shooting on Sunday evening, Blake was in Kenosha Street, lined with apartment buildings. He was breaking up a fight between 2 women, said attorney Benjamin Crump. And Kenosha police arrived, responding to a domestic incident. Police said Rayshawn White was across the street. That said he heard 2 women arguing when Blake arrived, and he said he doesn't know what started the altercation. White was filming the incident when Blake walked away toward the driver's side of his car and opened the door. In the video that's now being seen millions of times, more than 9 million views from Crump's Twitter feed alone. Police are seen closely following Blake and shooting him 7 times in the back as he leans into the car. In the vehicle were his 3 sons, ages 3, 5, and 8. Wow. Crump says CNN has not independently confirmed this. Blake is now in a Milwaukee hospital where he has remained in intensive care. As of Tuesday afternoon, he was undergoing surgery, Crump said. It's going to take a miracle for Jacob Blake Jr. to ever walk again. And Blake suffered multiple injuries, including a gunshot wound to one arm, damage to his kidney, liver, spinal cord, and he had a bullet go through some or all of his spinal cord, at least one bullet. He has holes in his stomach. He had to have nearly his entire colon and small intestines removed, saying the family will file a civil lawsuit against the police department over the shooting. And Jacob Blake is suffering from paralysis from the waist down. His father, Jacob Sr., told CNN, but he wasn't sure if the condition was permanent, and they just said, thank God he's alive. Blake's uncle, Justin Blake, stated, we are praying for a great recovery, that he may have a great quality of life, and that his father, my brother, can enjoy him. It's a sad day, man. It's another sad day, man. Another black man gunned down in his prime, 29 years old, man. Come on now. And as a result of this, NBA players are considering a boycott in the protest of Jacob Blake's shooting. And attention was taken off the NBA playoffs when a video of police officers in Kenosha, Wisconsin shooting unarmed black man Jacob Blake in the back 7 times went viral, as the players participating in the league's restart have been strong and constant in their unified messages to end police brutality and institutionalized racism in America. Thus, when asked about the video today, their frustration and anguish that this keeps happening was clear. It's also become clear to these men that simply speaking out isn't causing the widespread change they're calling for. Norman Powell and Fred VanVleet of the Toronto Raptors told reporters that boycotting a game or games is something the players have been talking about, and they've been discussing it. And Boston's Marcus Smart said something similar when he met with the media today. The Raptors and the Celtics are slated to meet for Game 1 of their second round playoffs on Thursday. The players have knelt down t-shirts and jerseys adorned with social media messages, and have dedicated most of their required time with media to speak on issues they feel are the most important. Yet another two black men have been killed. One killed and one shot and is paralyzed. George Hill, speaking for media yesterday, said that coming to the bubble was a mistake because it took the focus off the very issues they were trying to call attention to, and it's unlikely he's alone in how he feels. A boycott seems the natural next step in an effort to push change, because what they've done so far hasn't had the desired impact. We'll see what path they choose as the week goes on. And that's the NBA players are talking. They're talking, and they're planning a possible walkout and a possible boycott, and they're possibly thinking about not playing any more basketball. So we'll see how that works out. And I could specifically see that happening with dealing with Wisconsin, especially like the Milwaukee Bucks, and this that Kenosha is really, really close to Milwaukee, so I could see them protesting this. And this next part here, you got to listen very closely. There have only been 3 days, 3 days since George Floyd's death where police did not kill someone. You heard me say that again. There has only been 3 days since George Floyd's death that police did not kill someone. As the issue of police brutality against black people in the U.S. Is being raised yet again in the wake of Jacob Blake in Kenosha, Wisconsin, an independent project has highlighted the overall scale of fatal and officer-involved shootings. Blake was shot several times in the back at Kenosha by the Kenosha police as he tried to enter a vehicle at the 2800 block of 40th Street on Sunday. The 29-year-old did not appear to have been armed at the time, and the shooting was said to have taken place in front of his 3 children who were in the car at the time. Blake was reportedly attempting to break up a fight between two women prior to the shooting, and he is said to be in stable condition in the hospital and paralyzed. As with other high-profile shootings or killing black people by the police, such as George Floyd, Rayshard Brooks, Breonna Taylor, and Michael Brown, the incident in Kenosha sparked mass protests. The killing of Minneapolis man Floyd in May has also sparked nationwide calls for the police to be defunded amid a second day of protests and clashes with police in Kenosha. And another activist, founder of Mapping Police Violence, revealed there have only been 12 days this whole entire year where police have not fatally shot someone. According to the data, up until August 22nd, there were only 3 days since the death of George Floyd on May 25th in which police did not kill someone. June 4th, June 14th, and August 12th. Wow. According to Mapping Police Violence, which tracks shootings by police in the U.S., police have killed 751 people during the first 235 days of 2020. And all you people out there talking about there's no need for police reform and to defund the police, think again. Let me state that again. The U.S. police and the police in the United States have killed 751 people during the first 235 days of 2020. So that's basically, you talking about 3 people a day the cops have been killing since January 1st. And after this graphic tweet visualizing the data on August 24th, police pointed out police still kill people on almost a daily basis in the United States, despite the country going through various stages of lockdown, including the COVID-19 pandemic. So in the middle of a COVID-19 pandemic, where people have been basically, for the most part, indoors, the police have still managed to kill 751 people. We've been staying home, and even so, the capacity for police violence has not diminished. Mapping Police Violence states that black Americans are 3 times more likely to be killed by police, and that black people make up 28% of the total figure of those killed by police since 2013, despite being only 13% of the population. Let me say that again. Black people make up 28% of the total figure of those killed by police since 2013, despite only being 13% of the population. So the actions of Kenosha police following the shooting of Blake have been condemned, including calls for a criminal investigation. And Jacob Blake and his family have been forever scarred by the same police violence that has injured and killed so many black men in the United States. We can never forget that police violence is gun violence, and we must fight for long overdue changes to put a stop to shootings by police and create accountability for those who have pledged to protect and serve. The American Civil Liberties Union also criticized the latest example as an egregious act of police violence committed against a black person in the United States in the wake of the incident in Kenosha. Unfortunately, disgusting acts of police brutality like this will be commonplace so long as police continue to act as an occupying force in black communities. It should now be clear to elected officials across the country that the only way to end the scourge of police violence is to immediately divest from a policing institution that from its inception has been used to oppress black people, and reinvest into the same community that those horrific acts of violence are regularly perpetrated against. Policing is a crisis in and of itself, and we can no longer throw money and resources at an institution as hopelessly broken and expect to get different results. And that's the real deal, folks. I'm telling you now, man. See, this right here is like, it's an everyday occurrence, man. 751 people have been killed by the police since January 1st, and it's only 230 days, 235 days into the year. You know, we still got over 130 days left in the year before the year is up. So, wow. And then we still got a couple of more months before we can get out here and vote. Vote. You must go vote. You must vote. If you don't vote, stuff like this is going to continue to happen. Your local elections, your state elections, this presidential election, you got to get rid of this DC dunce that's out there spouting out all this hate. I mean, he actually brought the two people that pointed loaded weapons at peaceful protesters from St. Louis. He brought them to his so-called RNC convention. So that lets you know what his mindset is. He's trying to do whatever he can to spark up more and more hate. And there's a lot of garbage going on right now. There've been a lot of fights and shooting and between those far right fascists. Those far right fascists up in Portland have been pulling guns on people, shooting them with paintball guns, hitting them with baseball bats, and the police just put their hands up and just said, "Oh well, they just hurting each other," and just let it happen. Just let it happen. You had literally had some far right extremists from a group called the Proud Boys literally pull out handguns with their finger on the trigger, pointing guns at people, and the police did nothing, absolutely nothing, to arrest these people. Nothing whatsoever. So that lets you know what side they're on. So be aware, folks. Be aware of your surroundings at all times.
KP's Video News.
What it says.
It's KP's Video News, y'all. It's KP's Video News, y'all.
KP's Video News, y'all. Peace.